Well, I wasn't runic yet. I was um, trying to cast Cure, but I didn't need it. I mean, because it was interesting. You and I actually played. Oh yeah, I see the cave. Sorry, I missed the cave at first. We played Flash. It wasn't Flashback. We played. What was it? Out of This World. We played Out of This World. It was my first time playing Out of This World. Um, which in many ways is. I can see why people have great nostalgia for it because there's not a whole lot like it. But on the other hand, the reason there's not a whole lot like it is because I wouldn't want many games to do that because it's also frustrating and trial and error to the core and so on and so forth. Yeah, but nothing had ever looked like that. And I totally get it. It's really about atmosphere and place and the way a game can tell a story by the experience you're having. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. A lot of people say, "Oh, what's old is great and what's new is not," but it's just not like that. Although some games do hold up remarkably well. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh, that was easy. It's so much nicer to play on this D-pad that makes sense. I've not been in this dungeon, right? Is it really? Oh yeah, you're right. I have been through this area, but it looks different. Really? Okay. Well, then I have a terrible memory because I'm old. It was a nice counter. I think Silas is done now. Yeah. Let's grab Fenrir for her. Well, while we're here... Almost! That's like 99%. So he's almost there too. Yeah, that is a great creature design. I think that's one thing that Final Fantasy continues to do well, is have great creature designs. I would never complain that Final Fantasy 13 or 13-2 was somehow behind the times in that regard. Oh no, I'm just making conversation. Maybe behind the times is the wrong word, but it definitely didn't disappoint where creature design was concerned. Yeah, Saban's doing pretty well. I do agree with that. I'm definitely on board with more high fantasy for Final Fantasy than mech stuff, but that's part of the series too, though. Like they've all, I mean, even in this game, which is considered the best Final Fantasy of all time, you know, there's definitely mechy stuff. Is it okay if I say what I have to say about Borderlands before... I'll pass on what you have to say, Robert? Borderlands is a shooter. Borderlands is a loot shooter, yes, but it's still a shooter at heart, I think. I wouldn't call it an RPG either. But then again, it depends on what you mean by RPG. I've gotten to the point where I think of games like... Oh, the new Fallouts are definitely RPGs. I think it depends, though, when you start getting into a realm of... Is Diablo and Torchlight an RPG too? And yeah, they are, I guess, but... I don't know. If I can just say what I want to say about Borderlands, which is... overpraised, is all I wanted to say. That's really all I had. Oh, I think it's good, but... I'm gonna get this off my chest too, because... Hang on, I was doing too many things at one time. But people are always talking about, you know, oh, I'm just tired of games doing the same, like, all the games in the series try to do the same thing over and over again, which is one reason why I like Final Fantasy, because it's always reinventing itself with every game. Well, most of the time, until recently. Well, but 10 also had a direct sequel too, so... No, that's true. But anyway, but people, like... He got what's in the chest, yeah, that's why I was chasing after him. But... Borderlands 2 is really... just Borderlands-like. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's always... When people say, oh, I don't want games to be the same thing they are every time, what they really mean is, I'm okay with the games I like having sequels that are just like the last game. But if it's a game I don't like, then gaming is dead, because sequels are all the same. Oh my lord. Yeah, somebody's saying, like, Diablo/Torchlight games should be considered something different. Well, at the time, we always used the word ARPG, action RPG, for that kind of stuff to differentiate. But that's what Borderlands is it's the same kind of thing, except it's a first-person shooter instead of clicky, clicky, clicky. But I think... I've honestly gotten to the point where I think it's time to redefine genres, or just to find a different way of classifying games. But I don't know if that's even possible, because we need that kind of shorthand. So if I say to you, something's a first-person shooter, you need to be able to understand more or less what that is, but traditionally, that stuff's been very, very focused. Like, if you say something's an action movie to something, that can still mean a lot of different things. But I think if you say something's a first-person shooter, a lot of the times that has a very... It calls to mind something very specific, even though I think Borderlands is a very different type of game than Call of Duty. Yeah, Suikoden's really good. One of the reasons, by the way, I respect The Witcher 2 is that in certain ways it it retains what The Witcher was about, but it actually redefined all of the mechanics. Like, The Witcher 2 didn't play like The Witcher 1. It was in certain ways very different. That's what I would like to see more of in sequels. You know, retain the essence of the game, but redefine certain portions. Or another great example would be Guild Wars 2 over Guild Wars 1. Which is in certain ways significantly different, but still clearly a sequel. I'm gonna go on this one first. So I'd love to see more sequels like that stuff, I guess. I also think it's when games start having yearly sequels that you start running into trouble. Yeah. I mean, Call of Duty is one of them, but Assassin's Creed... I mean, come on, I mean, Assassin's Creed is my favorite modern game franchise, but enough already. But I think what helped Assassin's Creed sort of avoid some of that trouble was that, unlike something like Call of Duty, Call of Duty always has that essential Call of Duty feel. It doesn't feel very ambitious because it's very linear and focused. Whereas Assassin's Creed feels ambitious and it tells big stories. Ooh, what's that? And, for example, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out a year after Assassin's Creed 2, but didn't feel pooped out. If you know what I mean. It felt still very ambitious and interesting. Yeah, once you've got an engine, you can pull that stuff off a lot easier. It wasn't Relic, was it? Well, it's not quite like that. There's a lot. Even when you have an engine, there's a lot more. I mean, you're a game design student. You know that there's a lot more to it. Yeah, but you know, there's different level design, different missions, different voice acting, pacing to think about. There's lots of stuff that ends up being different. But they don't have to make the technology. That's the... But that's why we have, to me... See, this is why Borderlands 2 was sort of disappointing for me, because, like, with Assassin's Creed 1, which I loved, by the way, but you still had a game that was more or less, here is what we can do in the future. Like, here is our great engine, here is some awesome core mechanics. Oh, do a save state? Okay. Robert says, do a save cheat. Okay. But then Assassin's Creed 2 felt like it built on that. And that's what irritates me about Borderlands 2, is Borderlands 1 felt like, here is sort of our technological... here is the tech demo. And then Borderlands 2 was like, well, here's just more of that. Like, that's why I'm disappointed by Borderlands 2. So basically, we're just following Edgar around, right? Right. But we're following Jared around to see what's up. An anagram? Yeah. Jared is an anagram of Edgar. Robert's saying all these years and you never noticed it. And how many times have you played this game? Over and over. Yes, you've played this game many times. This is my first time. See? You just said it. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's not gonna help me at all, I bet.